Hey guys, Rick Stone here from Our Stony Acres. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Please make sure that you subscribe, and while you do that, make sure you click that notification bell so that you get notice every time I release new videos. Okay, so this is the April edition of our planting guide video series that we have been producing all year, and we're talking today specifically about zones 7 and 8. So this is an April planting guide for those of you that live in zones 7 and 8. As you can see, it's a beautiful day for us. Weather's starting to warm up. We're zone 6, but things are actually starting to warm up nicely. We're in the mid 60s today, which is super nice for us, and things are starting to grow in the garden, so we're excited about it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what you can be planting in zones 7 and 8 during the month of April, and there's a lot for you guys. And this is one of the times where zones 7 and 8, which are relatively similar, kind of separate a little bit, because those of you in zone 8, you're probably past your last frost date or getting very close to it, while those of you in zone 7 may actually still have some time left before frost is gone for the season. And so there's a little bit of a separation here. So I'm going to do some of the stuff that's kind of for both of you, zone 7 and zone 8, things that you can plant, and then there'll be some specific things that you can still be planting cool weather crops in zone 7 that we'll talk about as well. Okay? All right, so remember, any warm season crops, you can't be planting those until your last chance of frost has passed, and we don't want to be planting tomatoes or beans or anything like that if we still have a chance of frost. So make sure that you keep an eye out for your last frost date. But there are a few things, and again, once you've hit that last frost date, in both zones, you could be planting outdoors as transplants, peppers, tomatoes, and celery, and any of your melons or anything like that. If you wanted to put transplants in, squashes, cucumbers, all of those can go out as transplants. And especially in zone 7, you could probably still get away with maybe like some Brussels sprouts or something like that as well. But most of those are cool season. Now, by seed, there's actually quite a list, and we're going to be looking at cool season stuff until you hit that last frost date, and then once you've hit that last frost date, then you can kind of roll over into the warm season crops as well. So you could probably still be getting away with some leaf lettuces. I would especially look at focusing your attention on some of the summer crisp varieties. I've included a link down in the description below that will link you out to an article I wrote about summer crisp lettuces. They actually stand up a little bit better to the heat than most lettuce varieties do, and so you can still be planting those this time of year, especially in zone 8. So leaf lettuce you could probably still get away with. If it's still relatively cool for you, you might be able to get some of your other leafy greens like spinach, arugula, Swiss chard, things like that planted as well. And then as soon as that last frost date hits, for those of you in zone 8 especially, you can start working on your warm season crops. So you can be planting things like cucumbers, and all of your melons, watermelon, cantaloupe, Crenshaws, all of the different melons, zucchini, crookneck squash, patapan squash, all of your winter squashes, so butternut and spaghetti and all of those different types of acorn squash, all of those can be planted once that last chance of frost is gone. Then we're looking at pumpkins as well. You can plant pumpkins, corn. You can get corn in even maybe a week or so before your last frost date, because it's going to sit in the ground for a little bit, and you can even maybe get a little bit of a head start by planting some corn just a week or so before your last frost date. Beans can go in now. Sweet potatoes and regular potatoes can all be planted out in your garden. So there's just a long list of things in zone 7 and 8 that you can be planting right now. Zone 7 though, just make sure you watch out for that frost, okay? Now, because we've still kind of got that frost date to deal with in zone 7 and it's still some cooler temperatures, there are a few things that you can be planting in zone 7 that it's a little bit late to be planting in zone 8. So you could still probably get away with some and most of these will be by transplant this time of the year. Broccoli, cauliflower, kale, kohlrabi, all of those, we talked about Brussels sprouts already, all of those could go in zone 7 before your last frost date happens, and they'll be able to hold up to a little bit of frost. And then by seed, you could be planting things like beets, you could be planting onions, either by set or by start still, cabbage, carrots, turnips, radishes even still you could be getting in. So there's still a lot of stuff that you can be planting by seed in Zone 7, those cooler season crops. And again, lettuces, leafy greens, all of those can easily still be planted in Zone 7 right now. Okay, so that's your list for what you can be planting during the month of April. And you know, your frost dates are going to be really approaching, and once you hit that last frost date, then you really can, it opens up and you can get those warm season crops in as well. Okay, all right, so I hope this video helped you. Remember, this is the next in a series of videos that I filmed for Zone 7 and 8. We already have January through April filmed, and we'll continue to film those. So make sure that you subscribe and click the notification bell so that you know when I release new videos. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave those down in the comments below. All right, that's all I have for you for this week. Everybody have a great week. Happy gardening.